welcome to Smart Wealthy Stylist. I am so glad you're here. Let me just tell you how this whole thing started. Let's just say I used to be a stupid broke stylist. I have been doing hair, this is January 2023. I've been doing hair since March of 2010. So I've been doing it for a while. I grew up my dad was a mechanic, my mom worked in healthcare, and I never went without. My mom worked at home some when my brother was in high school. I just had a really great childhood. I feel really blessed that I had the childhood that I did. I wasn't really taught about money when I was a kid, and then whenever it came to going out on my own, going to cosmetology school, getting my degree, working, I was too busy. Like when I was in high school, working through high school and working through cosmetology school, I just wanted to spend my money, and it was super fun. So after that, I got my first job at a barbershop. At the barbershop, they were like, okay, the more butts in the chair, the more money you're making. So I would just get as many people in a day that I could. And it was a lot of pressure. But I got that mentality that the more people that were in your chair, the more money you were making. So that went on, but I still never really established healthy spending habits. Then in 2010, actually December 2010, I met my husband, and we dated for 3 years, got married. Fast forward, I only have ever worked at 3 places. I worked at the barbershop when I first got out of cosmetology school. The second place that I worked was the mall. And then after that, I worked at it was a booth rental salon here in Joplin. I'm from Joplin, Missouri. And whenever I was doing all that, I still never established healthy spending habits. In my business, I had a business account and a personal account, but a lot of times I'd end up just spending money out of my business account. It was really poor decision making. I didn't know it at the time. I kept my receipts. My accountant seemed to be okay with what I was doing, so I just kept doing it. Well, I decided to go out on my own. I decided to open an in-home salon studio, and that was very exciting. I went and got the loan. My husband and I did the construction, and it was actually our 2-car garage, and we turned it into a salon. I'll make a video about that later. So whenever that all happened, there was a lot of expense during that first year, but my business loan covered it. And then came, so that was 2020 when I opened this, January of 2020. Who would have thought that would be a good year to open a salon? It was not. However, it was just me in here, so I didn't really have to worry about other people or keeping the doors open, just only to supplement myself. So whenever all of that was going on, I was also pregnant. So I had a baby, or we had the shutdown in March and April, and then I had a baby in July. And during that time, I saved up. I had enough for my maternity leave. Then it was I just kept charging stuff on credit cards, floating myself. I love, designer handbags, and it was just such a weird time in my life. I'm sure you guys can relate too. I'm being super vulnerable here because I really think it's imperative that we come to terms with our spending habits. And if you want to get ahead in life, you're going to have to do that too. So I kept spending on my credit cards. And then 2021 came, and everything kind of went back to normal. I was working my full schedule. I didn't have any crazy amount of time off, but everything skyrocketed. The cost of product, I was busier than ever, but I felt like I was drowning. I was double booked all day long, 5 days a week, working nights some weekends. It was crazy, but I still never felt like I was getting ahead. I was just like, something's got to give here. So I started looking at my numbers and stuff, and I realized that after looking at my taxes, I spent more than I made. I understand some hairdressers want that on their taxes because they want the write-offs, they want a tax return, whatever. In my case, if something were to happen to my husband, I want to be able to refinance a vehicle or purchase a home on my own. Like, you got to show income. It's dishonest too. So no shame on you if that's what you do, but that's just not for me. So for the first time in my life being self-employed, this was like the 9th year of self-employment for me, I took a loss in my business. And that was earth-shattering to me. And so I ended up taking Britt Siva's Thriving Stylist Method course, and it changed my life. It completely turned everything upside down, what I thought about the beauty industry and being a salon owner, being a stylist, my relationships with my clients. You know, some of these clients have been with me for 10 years and like saying, hey, by the way, you know, your hair color is gonna double because I'm not making any money. Like, that felt, I really cared what they were gonna think about me. But as soon as I decided to take my business seriously and to make a huge change, I lost like 50 people when I made the jump and adjusted my prices. I quit working late nights. I quit working weekends. I prioritized my time and my family. As soon as that happened, wealth became, and I'm not talking money wealth, but health wealth, time wealth, all those things started just falling into my lap. I felt so much happier, but I still had credit card debt. I had debt from when I floated myself during COVID, maternity leave, taking a loss in my business. And I'm gonna be super vulnerable here, but I ended up with over $30,000 in credit card debt and a, $25,000 shop loan. So that was crazy. And the even crazier part, I didn't tell my husband about a lot of the debt that I had accrued. I was in shame. I just kept thinking every time I would buy something, I'd be like, well, you know what? I've got this, I'll pay it off. I'm making good money now, I'll just pay that off. Well, I'm a Christian, I love Jesus. If you don't, that's okay. I love you the same. But I went to a Christian women's retreat and it was the craziest experience, but I really truly felt so convicted about lying and I wasn't lying to my husband out of being like, I'm gonna hide this from him. It was more like, he has his own struggles with his job and in family life, and he's providing for us and all this stuff, and I felt like I was protecting him from a problem I created. So stupid broke stylist that's a stupid broke stylist move. So that Sunday when I got home from the retreat, I immediately was like, we need to talk. And I was like bawling and sweating, and it was ugly and awful. And I said, I have $30,000 in credit card debt. He was like, what? And so anyway, he's an amazing man, and God just blessed my socks off when he gave me him. And he said, okay, well, now you got to dig yourself out. Well, I was like, yes, okay, all right, I can do it now. And I truly believe that I was delivered from that burden at my Christian women's retreat. And I was delivered from that spirit of like needing more and deception and just so many things that were ugly and that I was oppressing myself with. I was delivered from that. And it completely changed my perspective and my spirit. Like, I don't even crave shopping or anything like that anymore. So once that happened, I was like, okay, well, I need to self-educate myself and get organized. I never knew how to budget because I had never implemented a system in my business. I was still kind of spending here and there, you know, in my business account, in my personal account. Money was just kind of, I never really knew exactly what I made a month or a week or a day even. I saw the totals on my sales sheet, but what were my expenditures? I didn't really truly know what I made. So I got serious and I started self-educating. I taught myself how to budget, how to separate my expenses, and then I found the book Profit First by Mike Michalowicz. And let me tell you what, Britt Siva's course, Thriving Stylist Method, 10 out of 10 recommend, life-changing. Profit First, life-changing. Implementing systems in my business made it to where I could personally budget for the first time in my life. I take a paycheck every 2 weeks, and then I budget my personal expenses off of what I make through those systems. So I started budgeting, and since October, just by budgeting, taking my business expenses seriously, tracking, cutting corners where I can, but making sure that I still provide the very best amenities and services for my clients, I've really dialed in where my expenses are. And then in my personal life, I obviously cut out any extra spending, and I even went as far as selling my truck. So we were leasing a brand new Tundra, and when I went in and had my oil change, they wanted to buy my truck back from me. And, you know, in lease deals, you always lose money. So I just asked them out of curiosity, you know, how much would you give me for this truck? And they gave me enough to pay off one whole credit card. So yes, it was a tough decision. We have like a 2005 GMC 3/4 ton, you know, big beefy farm truck that's paid for. My husband bought it at an auction years ago. And anyway, it's been a great, reliable vehicle, but it is a tank and it gets like 8 miles a gallon, but it's paid for. And I am willing to drive that as long as I need to clean up the mess I made. So we started, we've always contributed into savings. And so my husband said, okay, anything that's in savings, you know, pay it off on debt and we'll just keep saving up a chunk and then pay it down. So that's what we're doing. And I just want to tell you, like, if I can do it, literally anyone can. I failed pre-algebra like twice, and I am not good at math. I'm not good at money, or wasn't good at math or money. And there's been so much that has occurred since September 2022 till January 2023, just these few short months. And I have just found this expansiveness and this hunger for learning like I've never before. I wish I would have known all of this when I first started cosmetology school, or someone taught me this in high school. So I just want to be totally raw and real with all of you guys and share with you my experiences as I travel this journey. And I would love for you to travel it with me. I am actually in the process of creating a business tracker specifically for hairstylists to help us track expenses, color costs, set our goals, but specifically for us. Every single budget tracker that I have got, I've had to alter because it's not, you can't track your personal and your business, or there's just so many different things that I've had to alter on it to fit my needs. So I'm like, I'm just gonna make my own and share it with my friends. So anyway, I just wanted to sit down, have a cup of coffee with you, and let you know that if you're feeling like a stupid broke stylist, there is a smart, wealthy stylist on the inside of you. And no matter how much you're doubting yourself, don't, because you are enough. You can make waves in your community, in your families, in yourself. I just want to encourage you and let you know that you are enough and you can do really hard things, even when you think you can't. But as I go along, I would love to share with you guys what I'm doing and how I'm going through this, because I know so many stylist friends who are in the same boat. So stepping out on a limb here, but I would love it if you guys would follow along and maybe join me, and we could create a Facebook page, and we could all post on, you know, how we're doing and questions for each other and how to help each other. So anyway, well, signing off for now. Let's all become some smart, wealthy stylists.